my little piggies. Welcome back to I Am a Bit of an Expert, a Peppa Pig podcast. I'm your host, Josh Chapman. And with me, joining me, as always, the other half of the show, Matt Frost. How's it going, mate?
Good evening, Josh. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I haven't had to put a tent up or endure the elements or anything like that, or swallow my pride. But I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in this episode.
There is a lot of that going on.
So,
you go, mate.
so this one's camping.
Camping.
Now,
Yeah.
Are you a camper, Josh?
Festivals, yes. I've done a few music festivals in my time. I've certainly camped out in the backyard as a kid, and I've done a few camping trips and things. We were all sort of caravan people growing up. We weren't in the tents, so we were one step up from the tents. But I was in the Cubs and the Scouts, so that did put me in a lot of tents growing up. How about yourself?
Yeah, same, mate. I was a cub. I managed to get out before Scouts. That was not something I enjoyed.
Wasn't your scene?
No, not a big one for rules.
Not a big one for shorts.
Yeah.
Not a big one for woggles.
Yeah, but my lovely mother was a brownie leader.
Oh, my dad was a cub leader too. My dad was a cub leader. Yeah.
So I was sort of like, obliged to sort of see cubs through.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was not a model cub.
And I stuck. Oh, you go, mate.
My dad is a big camper. My dad's sort of like your very outdoorsy type. So I was dragged a lot out camping a lot. So,
oh, right. So
yeah.
some of this may ring true.
Yeah, and now that we've got little kids or whatever, we're starting to camp more, and I've got a bit of a different attitude towards it. But probably my old attitudes are probably going to pop up more than.
So what goes down in camping then, mate?
So they're off. The family are off. They've gone camping, and they get to the campsite and they set up the tent, and Daddy has proudly brought along his tent from when he was a little piglet.
Yeah, you had it stuck to the top of the car on the roof racks. First appearance of the roof racks on the car.
Yep. So him and Mummy Pig set out the tent, and Daddy Pig forgets a few of the little the nuances of setting up a tent, but yeah.
Now he does drop the line too, doesn't he?
He does.
I think he actually says he's an expert. He doesn't even say a bit of an expert. He's even slightly modest. He basically just absolutely lays claim to being a bona fide 100% expert at camping.
Yeah, and that starts to look pretty shaky right at the start when he sort of forgets what the pegs do, and but that tent, man, when they set it up, it's a very tiny tent.
It is.
So.
Now, I'm surprised that Daddy Pig actually kept that tent, because my experience with British people and tents is music festivals. So if you go to Glastonbury Festival, like I've been to, and the British people just abandon their tents and don't even bother bringing them home. Well, sometimes they'll just set fire to them before they leave.
That's very much my experience too, mate. When I was leaving the UK, because as we've discussed before, I lived over there as well. It suddenly dawned on me that I hadn't seen much of the UK itself at all. So I made a mad dash up to Scotland to have a look at Scotland. And in my wandering the globe state, I didn't realise that it was an Easter weekend, and so my plan of just rocking up and finding accommodation when I got there was pretty much sort of trumped, and I found out that Argos sells disposable tents.
Yeah, so, you can get a tent for about 20 quid, I think it was. Or
I think
yeah,
it's about that. Yeah. So yeah, there was me in a 20 pound tent on the side of the road with a bottle of Stoney's Mac, just trying to get through the night.
Taking in the lovely Scottish culture. Lovely.
Oh, it was very good.
I can hear the bagpipes from here.
Yeah.
Sleeping on the side of the road.
Yeah, that was me.
So they managed to get the tent up finally. There is a few little bumps in the road, shall we say? But and it's remarked pretty quickly that Daddy's not going to fit in this tent, and because of his big belly. So it's just I'm just trying to think: is he being called out on his belly before?
Oh, the
in
big
the order
tummy.
of things?
Big
tummy. Sorry.
Yeah, it seems. I feel like it's the first real reference to it. Again,
so this is a point of contention for some people who think that Daddy Pig's being fat shamed or being told off. But let's not beat around the bush. Daddy Pig's got a pretty big tummy.
Yeah, Daddy's got a pretty big tummy, and I tell you what, there's a whole legion of daddies that could probably do a little bit more exercise that are not looking at it as fat shaming.
Well, I did have 4 slices of pizza before we started this recording, so I'm probably not going to be fitting into that tent anytime soon either.
I think I've definitely got a daddy tummy that's got nothing to do with anything other than to do with my own laziness, and I feel like that's what Pepper's speaking to more than anything.
I think so. But then he sort of manages to deflect a little bit from all of that and says, "We're going to go light a fire. We're going to do a little campfire here, kids. Let's go find some wood." And then Daddy Pig does start showing his scout skills. He's like, "I don't need matches. I'm just going to rub the old 2 sticks together here and light a fire." Have you ever attempted the old 2 sticks together before?
No, mate. I have not. It just seems like a zombie apocalypse skill that I'm not interested in learning, to be honest.
I don't recall ever doing it in the Cubs or Scouts. I'm pretty sure I've seen 1 or 2 people have a crack at it, and it's the process is very much sped up here in Peppa Pig. You could get through a few episodes of Peppa Pig, I reckon.
Yeah. I light a good fire very quickly, but it's with your more traditional means. So.
Well, Daddy Pig should have known that. If you're in the Cubs, one of the mottos is you be prepared. So you'd have a box of matches on you anyway. You wouldn't have to be relying on rubbing 2 sticks together.
Pepper offers him matches. He's just like, nah. I am a bit of an expert.
I'm a bit of an expert at rubbing 2 sticks together. So I did like. There's a nice little piece of animation where his face just goes bright red.
Very red.
You can see he's really exerting here. He wants to be the outdoors man and get that fire on so they can have some lovely tomato soup.
Yeah, well, which answers another good question. Like they weren't going to slow cook a lamb roast or anything, were they? There was
no. There was a bit of. I was wondering what exactly they were going to pull out there, but they had it's very nice. Have a nice little a little dinner there, and then they scoffed down the old tomato soup, and then they've all got to try and squeeze into this tent. Let's be realistic. There's probably no chance that just Pepper and George would fit in this tent, really. If we're talking scale here.
Well, so look, it gets a bit TARDIS-y. I also noticed that they have dinner and there's no brushing of teeth, going to the toilet, all that other stuff. Oh, and
they're no digging a latrine. They haven't dug a latrine somewhere.
They're camping. They're not in the army, Josh. But
well. We used to do that, little drop toilet.
You can tell that you went to Scouts and I only went to Cubs, I think.
I'm using terms like drop toilet, yeah.
But, like as I said, we've just started camping with our little piggies, and those things can be pretty brutal, like as far as we've
been putting it off quite a lot, getting everyone to camp. Olive doesn't even like having anybody asleep in her bedroom, let alone all of us in a tent. I just feel like it's a recipe for disaster. We've my parents have sort of they caravan up at Malakuta every year, and they say, "Come on up, you can just get the tent next to the van, and you can all sleep in the tent." And nah, it's too too much. I don't think it's going to go, but we'll see. Maybe when they get a little bit older, we'll do it. But we're not really tent people.
Oh, I can't believe you just said like that Olive doesn't even like somebody sleeping in her room, and I'm just sitting there going, where I wake up every morning and there's kids lying all on top of me that just come in at the night like the tide.
Oh, no, you see, high doorknobs at our place, mate. The kids can't get out.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best thing about this house that we bought. Bugger the pool. It was the high doorknobs on all the doors. The kids can't escape. So, no. But, so basically Mummy Pig manages to squeeze into the tent. And then it's becoming pretty clear pretty quick that there's no room for Daddy Pig here. And he seems to take it in his stride.
Well, he does get pointed out that it's because of his big tummy.
Although he can't even get his head in. Like, he barely gets his head in the door. So, the tummy notwithstanding, he decides, oh, well, don't worry, I'll just sleep under the stars. I'm pretty hardcore. I'll just do that. And of course, once Daddy Pig, lies down under the stars, the weather changes.
Yeah, poor Daddy Pig. Now, did you have a swag as a kid?
No. I had a tent. I never had a tent growing up. We have a tent. Like, we've got a pretty decent tent at home that we've used. We got for Christmas one year, Kat and I, because we'd go to Golden Plains Festival here in Victoria every year. We still managed to. We didn't go this year because we had Sloane, but most years we still go. So that's kind of what the tent gets the use for. And we have camped with people at music festivals, and there'll be one dude, with some dreadlocks and stuff, who's got the old swag going.
See, swag must be a South Australian thing, because like everybody I know got a swag for their 18th birthday.
Really?
And the understanding is, like, we know you guys are going to be stupid boys, but don't drive your car. Like, so
I see. I just thought it was a hint to get you to move out of the house.
No.
Once you're 18, it's like, here you go, mate. You can go sleep in the backyard now.
So I've spent much more time in a swag than I ever have in a tent.
So you just stick it under your stool at the pub or put it in the back seat of the car?
Yeah, back seat. Boot of the car more than anything. Yeah.
So, yeah, right. No,
so
it must be a South
those
Australian thing.
For those that don't know, a swag is like a one-man tent. It's basically
kind of like a blanket. It's almost like a sleeping bag with a pad on the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like
with a cover, like you can kind of pull over your head if you need to.
Yeah, sort of like a canvas sack that you sleep in.
Sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's
surprisingly comfortable, mate. I quite like it.
Oh yeah, I can't say I've ever slept in a swag, but they wake up in the morning, the rain's hit, and Daddy Pig's sort of, oh dear. It reminds me, actually, I do remember camping in the Isle of Wight, and it was the coldest I ever was in my entire life, was camping at the Isle of Wight. It was bloody, absolutely freezing, and I had to get up and just sit next to the fire for that 6 hours because I was so cold. So not that I was being rained on, but I was just generally cold, and just seeing Daddy Pig sitting there in the elements, I did feel for the poor guy.
Yeah, well, he's got nothing, has he?
He's still in his street clothes.
Teal onesie.
Yeah, in his teal onesie. So, no, he was a little bit ill-prepared. So they get up in the morning, and Daddy Pig's nowhere to be seen, basically. And then they go up the hill, and he's sleeping in the car.
Who hasn't done it? I think he made a wise choice.
Sleeping in the car is almost as comfortable as sleeping on the ground, really. A couple of times I've slept in a car, I've found it very, very uncomfortable to sleep in the car. I remember doing it in Byron Bay one time.
You've quite done the hippie circuit, haven't you?
Yeah, I was going to say Byron Bay, Isle of Wight, Glastonbury, yeah. For someone who, I'm ragging out blokes with dreadlocks in swags, and here I am, and Isle of Wight, yeah. So, yeah, I just remember, sleeping in a car on the side of the road, and it's in summertime, and it's hot, it's cold, it's humid, there's mozzies, it's just, the seats don't go all the way back. It's a bad time, really. But Daddy Pig looks pretty refreshed when he wakes up, really.
It does, yeah. So we've worked out that the little red car's got power windows. He just zooms them down, like you know. in the fast class. What's up?
Probably like sleeping
Good
in there,
morning.
reliving some old memories in the little red car.
Oh, don't go there, Josh.
Yeah, so a fun little episode. It's there's some nice moments in there. It's nice that Daddy Pig he's kind of the center of attention in this one. Really, he does sort of fall in his pride a little bit, but as Daddy Pig does, he makes the most of the bad situation he gets himself in.
Look, he picks himself back up. He always does. It's this sort of episode that, you know, it is very Daddy Pig centric. We have the hubris.
We have a lot of that.
Yeah,
In
I love it.
spades.
Yeah, I think it's more than anything. I just think it's really hitting its stride now. This show. It's,
Yeah, we're in the salad days now. Really,
Yeah.
you're not really getting too many duds.
No.
It was funny actually. I was just talking to Kat before we started recording, and she said that she stumbled upon hide and seek the other day. And she goes, "Gee, that episode's terrible." And I went, "That's our go-to. Anytime we want to talk about a bad episode, that we compare it to hide and seek." And I said, "Well, it's like the second or third episode. They're just finding their feet. We can't really be too critical." But any closing thoughts on this one, mate, before we send it off?
No. As a reformed camper, it was good to see. I'm glad. I'm glad we have a proper family-sized tent. That's probably what I.
Yeah, fit that tummy in.
Yeah.
Great. Well, you can catch all our stuff on the socials at Peppa Pig Pod. The podcast is actually now available in China. So if you're listening to this in China, hello. If you're listening on the Himalaya platform, we had to sort of jump through a few hoops to get it there. All the episodes aren't actually up yet, so you might be hearing this months after it comes out everywhere else. But we are managing to get it out there. So if you are listening in China, please let us know. Someone's downloading it. I've checked so far, so we've managed to crack in, which is exciting. And we'll be back next week with the Sleepy Princess. So thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you, Josh, and good night, my little piggies.
Yeah, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bang and a bong and a bang. Bong, bang, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bangly, bongly, boo. Bong, bang, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bangly, bongly, boo.